Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here with Bob Louiseau, the City Administrator for the City of Detroit Lakes, soon to be the retired City Administrator. Bob, you could consider this maybe like Jared Allen riding off into the sunset on his horse. So this is kind of, we didn't have a horse, so
okay.
This is the best we could do.
I don't ride, so that's probably a good deal, Carol.
Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about, you've had 40 years, was it over 40 years in public service?
It's about 40 years,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
this spring. So I started and worked for the Regional Development Commission out of Duluth, Minnesota. I had an office up in International Falls and worked there for about 4 years, worked in Duluth for about 4 years, and then came to Detroit Lakes for about 8, went to Perm for about 17, and came back for about 8.5 more. So I think that adds up to something around 40.
Wow. All right. So, you know, in that process between Detroit Lakes and Perm especially, you've seen some pretty big developments happen.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch the changes in the communities and watch the growth in the whole regional area. We're fortunate in the area that we live in that we have a real strong economic base, and where a lot of areas tend to be affected negatively, you know, if the economy switches in one form or another, you know, with the tourism and the agriculture and the industry and the professional services that we have, you know, we have a pretty strong balance. And I think we have a real strong regional area in terms of the communities in the area and their ability to be able to develop and grow and keep moving forward, you know, over a lot of different long period of time. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you know, so with Detroit Lakes, about 16 and a half years then for Detroit Lakes?
Well, 16 and a half years, pretty close, yeah.
All right. So from the first time you worked here to the second time, I mean, you kind of came in right when that whole redevelopment was happening, correct? Highway 10 redevelopment was...
When I came here as the city administrator, they were just in the final year of the Highway 10 realignment project. Mm-hmm. And so then the redevelopment of that area that was vacated, if you will, when they realigned the highway, that was turned back to the city, and then the city went through a process for development of that. And I think that's gone really pretty well overall. If you look at the downtown crossing facilities that were put in, I think they really put a nice, strong front face to the Highway 10 area. You know, before Highway 10 came through and you saw the rear of all of the buildings and things, and the old, you know, where everybody saw the parking lot. That used to be the power plant. Back when I was here the first time, that was the power plant. And it just became economically unfeasible to provide steam at a reasonable rate to people downtown. So that was phased out and then turned into the parking area. Now I think with the realignment, gone to the next step, which is starting to present a real strong front to the community, to Highway 10, which is kind of the major traffic artery. Mm-hmm. So.
Yes, so lots of development happening here on your watch, I guess, mm-hmm. so to speak. So that was those are some of the developments. But you know, throughout the 40 years, I mean, you've worked with city councils, committees, different mayors, and you know, it takes a lot to work with so many different types of people and staff.
Yeah, it does. You know, you know, it's always remarkable to me how long some of the mayors can persevere with me as the city administrator, you know. But I've been really fortunate. I think all of the mayors, both in Detroit Lakes and in Perham that I've worked with and worked for, all the city councils that I've worked with and for have been really progressive and really good people. They looking to do what they think is going to make the community better and make it a better place for all of the residents to live, and they really carry that philosophy out on a day-to-day basis. And so it's been fun to be able to be a part of that and to watch the communities grow over time. So.
I'm here with Bob Louiseau, Detroit Lake City Administrator, soon to be retired City Administrator, and we're going to talk a little bit more about his career and maybe some of the things that he enjoyed and maybe some of the things not so much if he lets us. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings, here with Bob Louiseau at Detroit Lake City offices, retiring City Administrator. Now, Bob, being in the administration, working in the public sector for nearly 40 years, what has changed since you started?
Well, I think, obviously one of the big things would be technology, just, the fact that council meetings are now broadcast or taped and broadcast out to the community. I think that's one of the things that have changed. But as I look at the things that I was able to work on, I kind of figured out I got involved in a lot of downtown related development when I came to Detroit Lakes, and my first stint as a community development director, our goal was to try and get a redevelopment and revitalization of the Main Street area along Washington Avenue, and that resulted after several failed tries. We were able to put together the Washington Square Mall project, and I think that's really grown and developed and helped the downtown. And then when I was in Perham, we did a different type of a redevelopment project on Main Street and reconstructed all of that. And then we did a portion of the 2nd Street, which is another part of their downtown, and then came back here and we ended up with the Highway 10 relocation area and that redevelopment. And so it's been kind of a lot of fun to watch those things change and revitalize some of those areas of the community. And we've always approached that with the philosophy that, the taxpayers have put a lot of money into the utilities and the streets and the other improvements that are there. And, one of the things we're trying to do is make sure that we have an active and growing and vital business community in there, because then that is kind of the return on investment, if you will, for those. And so, it's been fun to be able to see those things reinvent themselves and continue to develop over time.
Okay, so what has been the best part of your job? What is something that you'll take with you?
The best part is the people. Mm-hmm. I just enjoy working with everybody. The staff is wonderful. I think I've always been blessed by having real good staff people working with us and working for us. It makes the job a lot easier, and there's been some people that have been real key in my own development, and I certainly appreciate that. Mayor Bubaltz and Dixie Johnson was on the council and the utility commission, and several of the mayors and people in Perham were very supportive of me and helped me develop and learn to be a better manager. And so I thank all of them for that, for their help and for the opportunity they presented to me. So.
All right. Well, you're handing the reins over to Kelsey Clem, and he's following in your footsteps.
We're kind of getting used to do that. I just did that a few years ago, last time. So, but no, I think everybody will really find Kelsey to be a really great person to work with. He's real committed to the community. He gets involved, and I think he's got a very good approach to working with people. He tries to figure out how to get things done and how to solve problems, which I think is the key to being, a good public servant. Anybody can stand up and say, no, you can't do that, but if you can help people figure out, well, this might work, or here's another way that you can accomplish that goal, I think people appreciate that, because everybody's looking to do the best thing they can for the community and the people around them, and so you're just trying to facilitate and put all that together in a functional package. So.
Okay, well, good luck on your retirement. Any plans like going to Jamaica or anything like that?
Well, I don't know if I'll be going to Jamaica immediately, but actually I'm hoping that I might be able to make a trip to Jamaica. I got the privilege of going down there a couple of years ago on a Rotary mission trip, and it was a great experience, and I wouldn't mind doing that. But No, we're going to go visit some family, and then we're going to take it easy and play with dogs for a while, and then figure out what we want to be when we grow up.
Right. We'll have a lot of fun, and you know, it's been a pleasure working with you at city council meetings, and you know, seeing you out and about. And good luck with your retirement.
Well, thank you, Carol. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate working with you also. So you do a good job.
All right, Bob Louiseau on Hometown Happenings, and I'm Carol McCarthy for TV3.